Listeners, welcome back to another episode of the Lead Well Podcast. This is Brandon Holland, your host. Really excited for you and for the episode that we have for you today. On today's episode, we have someone who is an amazing father, a good husband, a Little League football coach, and a friend of our law enforcement friends and correction officers, Mr. Steve Maynard. Steve, welcome to the show.
Brandon, I appreciate it, man. I know we've known each other since elementary school, I do believe. So it's been, Here I am, 39 years old, and I know we've been out of school for 20 years, and here we are linking up, doing a podcast together. So it's awesome, man, doing this with you, and I appreciate the invite.
Absolutely, man. I'm just happy to have you on. Somebody who is a fellow supporter of our friends in law enforcement and somebody who's passionate about that field and passionate about service. We're going to just kind of jump right in and get started. Let's give our listeners a little bit of your background. We're from the same place, which I think is a very special place. But let's give the listeners a little bit about you and what you're up to currently, and then we'll start talking about some leadership.
Yeah. So without taking up 3 hours of our time, I've been in Randleman, North Carolina, my entire life. Here I am, 39 years old, still living here and loving every bit of the small town life. And played sports growing up. When I turned 21, I joined law enforcement and worked in corrections for 15 years. Got out in 2020. As we know, 2020 was one of those crazy, unpredictable years with COVID and everything else going on. But I was blessed enough to get a position in sales with a company that works with corrections, selling RFID tracking to jails and prisons. And here I am 4 years later, still with them, and now I'm their national business development manager. So networking is what I love doing. Talking, I love to talk. I think I get that from my father. We can hold a conversation with a stop sign if we need to, but it's just a trait we have, But on the family side, I have a beautiful wife who's a nurse 20 years, and then I have two sons who is my world. Ben is 12, getting ready to turn 13, and Luke is 6, getting ready to turn 7, or going on 17 if we want to be honest. But yeah, man, coaching football, this is my first year able to coach because of, the way law enforcement schedules were, just go, and rotating schedules. And now I'm able to be there for these boys and coach them and raise them and really teach them values, man, on life. It's not all about winning. And
Right.
And I love being able to show them that. So, you're going to get hurt, you're going to get knocked down, but you got to get back up and keep it going. So if I teach them that now, later on in life, when it does happen, then they'll understand that. So that's more of the coaching aspect for me in football. I love to win. I hate to lose like anybody else, but it's also about personal growth when these boys are on the field.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So just going back a little bit. So you said you started law enforcement at 21. Like what led to that? How'd you get attracted to that field?
Yeah, man. So my entire family was in law enforcement. So, growing up, my dad was in it. My dad done 33 years. His brother done 40. My mom's brother just retired after 30 years with Asheboro. My brother's still in it, close to 14 or 15 years now here in Randleman. It was in my blood, literally in my blood. And I was growing through high school. I know we had working with our guidance counselors on what we wanted to do. I wanted to be a state trooper, State trooper was my goal, man, and I knew I'd be a good one. But I had a different avenue to take. I had broke my foot during the summer, and I turned 21, and I couldn't go to trooper school, so I applied with Guilford County Sheriff's Office. And
Gotcha.
Next thing you know, 15 years later, I'm still there doing my thing. It led me there, and I'm glad it led me there, man. It was 15 years of my life spent working behind the walls in jails, in 2 jails.
Yeah.
Creating relationships, not only with the officers, but the convicts that are there. I mean, not necessarily relationship, but understanding not everybody's bad. They make mistakes. It could have been me. It could have been you. It could be any one of us making a quick mistake, and next thing you know, we're locked up. So being fair, being firm with these folks, and letting them know, man, I'm here to help you. And that really helped me through life with communication and listening and working my way up to being a leader in corrections. So, it's a crazy story, man. I really want to write a book on the 15 years I spent, because I believe if I had the right publisher, it would be a top seller from the stories that I have. So,
That's incredible. Well, I'm currently working on my book, so maybe we can link up and cut a publisher a deal on something. So
a 2-for-1.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, so that's a different take that, you wouldn't really expect from somebody in corrections, that, they're there to serve the population, that's, under their command. And, whenever I'm talking with people in law enforcement, my brother was in law enforcement too. They always have like some crazy stories, right? So, what's like a cool experience that you've had to like help you grow like in your leadership?
It's wild you say that, man, because I at my current company, our marketing is phenomenal at Guardian RFID, and if you go to our YouTube page, you see video after video, and it's not even Guardian related; it is corrections related, because we want these folks to know there's someone here for you. And I did a video a while back that's already like at 125,000 views. I've done it earlier this year, and it talks about 5 tips for correctional officers, but I talked about day one. Like my very first day in the jail, I'm walking with my field training officer, and the very first cell door open is a juvenile. He hung himself.
Wow.
And his mom and dad was trying to teach him a lesson, left him in the jail over the weekend. And when I come in that morning, my very first round, he's hanging, he's dead.
Yeah.
The very first inmate I came in encounter with, and then the last day of my career, I delivered a baby. So expect the unexpected for sure. Well, we're in between those 15 years, there's so many stories, whether it was life-saving or responding or seeing an officer half beaten to death, or in custody deaths, or a plethora of things happen daily, and not one day was the same over 15 years.
Yeah, that's one of the things that keeps me on my toes as, working in local government. And it's one of the things that I love about it is that every day is different.
Yep.
But also at the same time, it's difficult to develop routine and stuff like that. So, on your on those 5 tips, that you shared in your video, what's one of the more important things that you would say to a fellow correctional officer?
Yeah, so obviously safety is the main thing, but you have, and I hear this from my wife, communication is key. It really is key. If you cannot communicate, and I mean listen and talk, if you can't do those, then you will fail at that career fast.
Okay.
And I always said, anybody can talk to someone behind the door. They're in their cell, they're locked up. I can talk to them all day long. But how do you react when they're in front of your face talking? If you have a child molester and he's convicted, he's done this, I still have to treat him like a humane citizen. I mean, he's incarcerated, he's in the system, he's probably going to prison, but I have to treat him the right way, and that takes a special person to do that job, to know that I'm here to do this job, keep these folks safe and get them to the next level, which is prison or court or home. It's one of the 3, so communication, man, if you do not have good communication skills, you fail at that job quickly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, so, spending so much time in this field gives you the knowledge and the experience to be successful. And so you got your knowledge, got your experience, and then you're currently in sales. So you've moved from, serving that industry to, being a partner to that industry. How did that transition go? What led to that?
Yeah, man, a great question, because I never thought in a million years that I would be in sales ever. I've done a little network marketing when I was in law enforcement selling some stuff, but it wasn't technically sales. I had buddies kind of helping me out do some stuff with protein shakes and all that. But when the CEO called me and said, man, I love your profile on LinkedIn. You fit what we're looking for. We are building a sales team that can relate to the job. We want boots on the ground that can go in there and talk to these folks, and they know they've walked the walk and talked the talk. And when I went and done my interview in Minnesota, I was there maybe 3 minutes, and they were like, dude, we're wasting time. You're hired. And the first 3.5 years was fun. I mean, it still is fun, but it was just going in there, going to these jails and prisons and showing them a product that can not only save their lives, but help them save inmates' lives, help them save the criminal or the convicts' lives, and help them pass their inspections because all the documentation is there and it's easy to access. And it's giving them a product that makes their life and their job easier, gives them a peace of mind. And that's what I enjoyed because I didn't have that. We didn't have that product. We didn't have that software. We were doing it all by hand, writing stuff down, and all. We know that stuff can be manipulated. So by being able to present a product that is game changing for the entire industry is fun,
Yeah, that's incredible. So,
Yeah.
has sales been difficult for you, or is it more fitting to your personality? How has that been?
Sales is always going to be difficult, no matter what, because you have to educate a lot of folks on what you're selling.
Okay.
I'm not going door to door selling Hoover vacuums and saying, hey, let me vacuum your carpet. Do you like it or not? I'm going and I'm selling thousands of dollars of sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars in software and hardware to say, this is why you need this. What are you currently using? And this is what's different. And it takes sometimes months and years to build that relationship and build that trust and let them know you're here for them. And I've learned that over this time that, when I first joined sales, I was wanting things to move at a rapid pace. And then I realized that's not how sales works. It doesn't.
Gotcha.
I'm not a car salesman saying, hey, let's go drive this car. Do you want it or not? It's a lot more than that when it comes to the city and county council and procurement. And do you have the budget for this? And learning all of that, I kind of already knew because I worked at the jails and I knew the budget and how that worked and how to talk with the county commissioners. But every state, I covered 18 states when I was in the sales role, and every single state from Maine to Florida ran operations differently. So, it was fun learning all that, which really has led me to my position now as, business development manager at the company, and it's a national position.
Wow. So having so many, different, sections of territory that you have to cover, man, it forces you to be flexible, and, being able to think on your toes.
Yep.
What are some other like important qualities that, somebody in your position would need to have?
You got to be empathetic. I mean, you got to understand these folks and where they're coming from. Not every jail can afford a system like this. And we want to do our best to help them afford it. Who can I talk to? Who can I go directly to your county commissioner? Can I go to your city council meeting? And I will. I've done it many times. Yeah. And I get my 5 minutes of free speech, and I say, this is what we have to offer. You had a in custody death 2 months ago, and you had to pay that family a lawsuit. You had to pay them because of negligence or whatever it may have been, or just short staffed, because every jail is short staffed now. So, it's our job to educate those folks and say, this is why your facility needs this. Yes, it costs X amount of dollars. However, it's going to save you X amount of dollars in the long run. And so being able to create those relationships with city council and county commissioners and the leaders of every department is vital. And that's kind of my role now, is being there and creating these relationships, maintaining these relationships. Earning their trust is key between the vendor and an agency. When I work with vendors, I wanted to have a good partnership, kind of like a marriage. I trust you, you trust me, and I know your product's going to be there for me. And that is the goal that I have for now, the entire nation, instead of 18 states, is letting these agencies know, guys, I'm here for you. It may not be the right time, but you can call me anytime when you're ready. And agencies appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially, having somebody who's been there, somebody who's been in the trenches, who's done the thing, And so, yeah, that actually, adds to the empathy and, the support that you're able to give those folks too. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you look at our team, we call it a team. Our company's a team, but we have over 300 years of experience in corrections with all of our guys here placed between our training team and our sales team and our account managers. Every one of them, almost every one of them, are former correctional
Okay.
throughout the nation. So we call it the core team. If you go to our website, you see the core team, and we have every one of us has a baseball card and all of our certifications. It tells you who we are. That way, these agencies know these guys ain't playing around. They're not Joe Blow out here trying to sell a product and say we can do this. The proof's in the pudding. It's right there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's incredible.
Yeah.
So let's switch gears just a little bit. So coaching little league football is that's really cool. And we're right here at the beginning of the season. I'm sure you're being able to watch these kids develop and stuff like that. What's been some of the fun parts that you've been able to see, from bonding with your kids and being out there and being able to pour into the future?
Yeah, man. So I'm coaching 6U football. Okay, so 6U is obviously attention spans are about 10 to 15 minutes at a time. And I get it. I truly do get it, especially when you're practicing at 6 p.m. in the afternoon after school. The kids are beat. They're done. They want dinner. They want chicken nuggets, and they want shower in bed. Or they want Fortnite or something. That's just how it is these days.
Yeah.
But I love it, man, because throughout the first 4 weeks, I have seen a drastic improvement in these kids from week 1 to now to prepare them for our first game this Saturday. It is AAU football. It's not your typical rec league where you go out there and you just do a little bit of blocking and a kid runs 50 yards and scores. This is legit tackle football without the equipment. It is flag for 6U. The rest, 8U, 10U, and 12U is all tackle. But I have seen these kids grow so much already, which has got me pumped for Saturday because I know they're going to do good. I know they are. And that gets me pumped up for the rest of the season as well because I know they're just going to get better from here on out.
Right.
So it's really cool to see this. Just in the beginning, I said, guys, when I'm talking to you, I get down to their level. I get on my knees, so I'm not coward. I'm 6'1", 280 pounds. I look like a giant compared to these kids. So I get down on their level. I tell them to look at me in the eyes. I'm trying to prepare them for the next level in their lives as well. I want them to say yes, sir, or no, sir, to their coaches, and they're starting to do all this. Week 1, week 2, they really wasn't. But now they're starting to all do that without me having to say, hey, guys, what'd I say, or what'd you say? Yes, sir. Everybody, yes, sir, as a team now. So, and at the end of practice, we all do 20 push-ups together. We count together, just letting them know we have to work as a team. And it's fun, man. I hate I had to wait this long to coach, but I don't think I'm ever going to stop coaching now. So once my kids are long gone and grown, I'm probably going to stay around here and coach some more just because it's that much fun,
Yeah. Man, that's incredible.
Yeah.
And, with the season just right around the corner, I hope you guys are, just super fired up. It sounds like you are and just ready to kick some tail, man. That's going to be really cool.
I think they are, man. They're amped up. I'm seeing we have our coaches text message, and Michael Marsh. He's one of our coaches as well, man. It's yeah. He coaches 8U, so we're pumped, dude. You see our Facebook threads, and it's talking about let's get these boys ready. Let's get them pumped up, and he shares the same passion I do about these, getting these kids prepared and getting them ready, man. We don't want them to go out there and fail. We want them to go out there and succeed. It feels good to win, So we want them to feel that feeling. I'm kind of living vicariously through my kids because I didn't play football in high school, and that's the biggest regret of life is not playing football and not at least doing 4 years in the military. But that wasn't God's plan, so it is what it is there. But seeing my boys playing the football field is like a reward to me, man. I love every bit of
it. Yeah, absolutely, man. That's so good. So, being in this element, getting to coach and being able to, pour into the next generation, how are you helping build young leaders? Like, what's your message to somebody who is wanting to be a leader or somebody that you see leadership potential in? What's your message to that person?
Develop self-awareness.
Okay.
I have a good friend named Paul Butler who is he speaks nationally. He's out of South Carolina. Me and him have become good friends, and I go to every seminar I can with him. If he's in the area, I'm trying to go to his seminar because he is that good. Even if it's the same lesson every time, I learn something new every time. It's amazing. And he grabs the audience, and people love him. They love Paul Butler, man. And the thing he teaches leadership. That's what he teaches, and it's just amazing what I've learned just from him. Not from life experiences as a leader or working my way to a leader, but just learning the things, making a positive difference in lives and training others to take my place. I want my subordinates, when I was in corrections, I'm training you to take my place. I had those leaders when I was a subordinate, when I was an officer, a slick sleeve officer, but I didn't have it up here in my head. I wanted the next level, but I wasn't I wasn't taking the necessary steps, like thinking like a leader, acting like a leader. And so I encourage folks who want to be a leader down the road you have to start thinking like a leader. You have to have that vision. You have to reach out for help, talk to folks, find a mentor. There's a lot of things there that maybe it was pride, maybe it was ego when I was young and dumb. I don't know, but I could have advanced a lot quicker than I did because I didn't put those steps into play as a young officer. And same thing goes for any other job. That if you want to be a leader, you have to take those steps. I think the generation now wants to come in and be the boss on day one. You know what I mean? And that's not how life works. And if they don't get boss or if they don't get promoted within a year, they're hunting for another job. Be patient. Be patient. Your time will come if you do the right thing and take the right necessary steps. Your time is going to come. So just having that vision. What else? So, continue to learn. Don't stop learning. I always say a day that goes by and you don't learn anything is a wasted day, man. Try to learn something new every day. And I truly believe I took advantage of that, and I did learn something new every single day, and I'm grateful for that. Whether it was job related or life related, I learned something new every single day, and I hope I continue to do that throughout my life. Build strong relationships. Relationships are important, whether it's professional relationships or a relationship with your spouse or your kids. I always tell my kids, don't hide anything from me. Don't lie to me. I don't care how bad it is. Let's talk. If punishment is needed down the road, punishment is needed down the road, but we got to talk. We got, and I tell the same thing to the folks that I used to work with or supervise. Let's talk this through. Let's find a solution, and a lot of folks don't realize that until way down life's road, So there's so many things in that question that I could just throw out there, seek feedback and oh man, it's crazy. Yeah, there's so much out there that you really could, lead by an example. There's, all these things that you could do to be a good leader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and that's one of the reasons, I was excited about having you on today, because I know that, you've done the work to be in those positions and to be able to pour into others. And I totally agree, man. Some people, when they don't get it fast enough, it's a big problem. And sometimes when people get those positions too fast, it leads to failure.
It does.
So, these are things that you have to grow into. But yeah, man. So, is there anything else? We're getting ready to wrap up the show. Is there anything else before we go?
Just whoever is listening, and it could be a variety of folks. I know you're going to post this, and there's going to be some listeners out there that may think of themselves as a leader, or they're looking to be a leader. And all I've got to say is have the vision, set the goal, and go accomplish it. There's going to be setbacks. Look, I failed more than I succeeded in life. I did. Professionally, I failed a whole lot, man. But I learned by those failures. I did. Whether it was a promotional exam or because I test anxiety out the roof, man. But, I could go out there and I could perform the job. It was just the test itself. There was anxiety there, no matter how much I studied. So there's going to be failures in your professional and your personal life. So learn how to cope with that. Learn how to get around that obstacle, and it makes it that much more rewarding. You know, my job, I feel like I've been rewarded for my hard work, and I want that to be contagious to the ones that I work with. You know what I mean? I want them to see and feel my energy. I want them to know that I'm here for them and I've got their back. I'm no longer doing cell extractions at a jail or prison, but I will run through a brick wall for you to get this job done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's I think as a leader, folks like that. They know their leader is there for them and he's got their back. And I encourage folks to find that level and don't go back down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. This has been great information, dude. Thank you so much for your time. But just for future reference, how can our listeners get in touch with you, or how can they follow you?
Yeah, so I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. So if you look up Steve Maynard, you'll see me as the business development manager for Guardian RFID. So feel free to connect there. Look, I talk to a lot of folks, and it's not even work related; it is life related. Over the years, I don't know if it's because of the peer support, that certifications that I got over years, but folks still reach out to me if they just want to talk on a personal level. They're going through issues. I've had folks reach out to me because they were honestly suicidal, and I've been able to guide them and get them help.
Yeah.
So I'm open 24/7, just like my wife. My wife is the same way, man. We want to help folks,
Yeah.
whether it's spiritually, professionally, emotionally. I'm no certified therapist, but I am a great ear and a great shoulder to lean on, a great ear to talk to. Um, Now, if you want to advance in your professional career, or if you're looking for other things or folks to talk with and meet, then let me know, man. My network is pretty large. I feel like it is, and it's growing. And LinkedIn has been a huge help with that.
That's fantastic. Yeah. So, hey guys, you heard it here. Follow Steve on LinkedIn, and if there's anything at all that he could be of help with, just please reach out. And also, if you're still with us, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for listening, and Steve, thank you for your time. Thank you
Yeah, man.
for the information. Thank you for what you're doing, and thank you for what you've done to serve and to follow in your family's footsteps and continue to be a good example to our friends in law enforcement. Really appreciate you and your heart for this industry and for everything that you're doing, man. So thank you so much.
Well, I
And
appreciate
to the
it.
listeners, absolutely. And to the listeners, hey, we'll have another episode for you 2 weeks from today. So thank you so much. Make sure you follow, like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Thanks.